Our country is on the increase with violence, killings, murder. It's just getting worse by the day. Crime is a very serious issue, and it is on the increase in our country, especially gender-based violence. This is a crime that affects everyone, from young to old. Children get raped, elders get raped, elders are raping the children. It's a ongoing, uncontrolled, unpredictable situation that is just totally out of hand. Having the police at hand to be our securing forces, at the same time they are also a destructive force to the community. Look at various incidents that police are the ones that inflict danger to the communities. The laws are also very contradicting in implementing and preventing this kind of criminal activities. Why? What is wrong in our justice system? What is wrong in our justice system? And we've got our justice system, the police, to enforce laws, but they are like over-enforcing and not reacting at certain things that they need to act, and they are just not acting. What is wrong in our justice system? This is very serious. This is very, very crucial. Very serious.
Standoffs between the police and civilians are not too common, but should there be an encounter, it is one that is aggressive. Some encounters between the public and the police worth noting were during the Shut It Down movement demonstrations in 2020, where demonstrators, mainly youth, stormed the parliament in protest against gender-based violence. The action of these protesters was triggered by a series of gruesome assaults on women and girls. The riot police used tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse the protesters. The group was demanding for a change to existing laws and introduction of new legislation to protect vulnerable women against violence.
And when rights are being violated, especially leading to a death, that is a very serious matter. Actually, also training in terms of when there is riots, when there is a big demonstration, how do you deal with these issues? Because sometimes there's an overreaction on a matter that we should have resolved through discussions and negotiations.
In December last year, a police officer was seen in a widely distributed video on social media aggressively throwing a man in the back of a police van. The man is said to have interfered in routine police investigations. NBC News reached out to the Oshana Regional Commander, Commissioner Sakaria Lungameni, asking if the actions of the police officer were justifiable.
And don't get me wrong, under no circumstances that we are saying that the image that we have seen is appealing. No, what we are saying is that people should allow the police to do their work.
But Dr. Marius Kudumo says more should be done to equip police officers with skills that would help them to avert encounters with civilians that can escalate into violence. Emil Sebeb, NBC News, Windhoek.
This is your channel, Jury Rampaga Archives, your only channel with the best that you ever can get. Stay tuned.
These are the words that echo the streets of the harbour town. Rape, which falls under the category of sexual violence, has direct linkages to the rise in mental health, HIV infections, unsafe abortions, as well as alcohol and drug abuse. Andre says more than half of adolescent girls in Namibia reported that their first sexual experience was without consent. He further says that most teenage pregnancies are unwanted and often lead to unsafe abortions and baby dumping. More than 300 illegal abortions were reported over the past few years by the Ministry of Health and Social Services.
Every woman and every girl has the right to a life free of violence. Yet this rupture of human rights occurs of a variety of ways in every community, particularly affecting those who are most marginalized and vulnerable. Namibia experiences alarmingly high rates of gender-based violences, according to the UN Women Global Database on Violence Against Women. 25% of women in Namibia between the ages of 15 and 49 reported having experienced intimate partners violence at least once in their lives.
Chief Executive Director of the Healing Wound Non-Profit Association, Florence Chisuku, says for too long, activists and members of the community have been silent due to fear of speaking up.
The trauma responses from these acts of violence brings communities to a standstill and remain stagnant. Growth and development is slow as our society is bleeding due to households and families being broken and torn apart due to violences such as rape and SGBV. For long, activists and members of these communities have been silent due to fear of speaking up. But until when are we going to hide and turn a blind eye?
Miriam Ngonga is a victim and community activist.
I was raped by my cousin, got pregnant. He didn't get justice. I didn't get justice. He's still around. I got raped by my uncle. He's still around. I see him each and every single day. And for that matter, he even did it. Me having a kid, a newborn, and he did it in front of my son, and that really hurts me.
We as the community, we are tired. Our children are victimized. We have children who are spikes wherever they are. Something is put in their drinks and these children are raped. And they are victimized. Videos are sent on social media. These children are blackmailed and they are not speaking out because they are afraid.
The officers attached to the Police Special Reserve Force, Bernard Molisa and Wilbert Nashuku, aged 31 and 25 years old respectively, were charged with murder and assault with an intent to cause grievous bodily harm. State Prosecutor Louis Chikunwe opposed granting of bail to the suspects. He argued the police investigation is still at an early stage and that it was not in the interest of justice to grant them bail. Chikunwe also opposed bail on grounds that the suspects may abscond, as well as the public outcry over the death of Plaikis at the hands of police. Presiding Magistrate Lisken Konzore denied the suspects bail and advised them to lodge a formal bail application. It is alleged that the officers booted Plaikis and Jason Johnson after they stopped and searched them and found them in possession of a banquet of skunk cannabis. The suspects will return to court on the 30th of January. The family members of Plaikis are happy that the court has denied the two police officers bail.
We are satisfied with the justice proceedings so far, but we want the rest of the shift, the whole unit that was present in the vehicle when the incident took place, also to be brought to justice, because we feel they are also accomplices, because somebody could have stopped this from happening. So we also feel that they should be brought to justice as well, the whole unit. But so far, we are satisfied with the, like I said, the proceedings that went off today, and we are also happy that they didn't get bail.
The family expressed their gratitude to Keetmanshoop residents for their support in the time of their bereavement. Lukman Kluter, NBC News, Keetmanshoop.
Veronica Plaiki says she was with her son at the Keetmanshoop State Hospital and saw him in severe pain. She says the police who were on shift that night allegedly took the incident as a joke and were reluctant to assist them.
Justice must be served. I was physically there with my son and I saw that he was in severe pain. They've hurt him so much. There was no hope at all that he would survive, but we still had faith. What hurts the most is the manner in which the police received us. They were very rude and treated us like fools. They took the entire incident as a joke. Now the entire team that was on that Kumbi must be investigated. They only started to take us serious when they heard that my son died.
Police spokesperson Deputy Commissioner Kauna Shikwambi confirmed that 2 ordinary police officers who were positively identified by a witness who was with the deceased will appear in court tomorrow. It is alleged that the police Special Reserve Force members, during a routine patrol, stopped and searched Plaiki and another resident. They then allegedly found a bankie of skunk cannabis in possession of Plaiki. They rounded up the duo and assaulted them before letting them go without opening a criminal docket against the 2. Lester Plaiki died at the Katutura State Hospital, where doctors found his death was caused by superficial injuries inflicted on multiple regions of his body due to blunt force trauma.
In such a case, would you say it's only in the south or it is only these particular police officers? What about other regions? You find the same problems, same police force doing so much wrong, over-enforcing, not attending to complaints, region per region. Let's see this now.
Reeds van Augustus maand af dat sy daai probleem het. En so sy probleme kry het sy alles by totale nie polisiestasie gegaan en al die klag gaan gelê. Daar was ook 'n dag wat sy by my huis gekom het en van daar af polisiestasie toe gegaan. Dis die keer wat memory help gesoek het. En die probleem wat ons as in die community het is die 3 polisiestasies. Namelijk Tutaleni polisiestasie, Kwisemon polisiestasie en Women and Child van Walvis Bay. Ons is baie aangeraak aan oor die storie van die kind. Ons as 'n community wil hê daar moet veranderinge wees by hierdie 3 polisiestasies van Walvis Bay. Ons wil hê dat is rassisties. As jy by die polisiestasie kom, dan word jy gesê wag tot maandag. As jy daar maar sprekend is, dan word jy gesê jy moet tot maandag wag. Tot die offisiere kom wat daar maar taal praat. Die enigste polisieman wat vir ons baie mooi help. Die help wat ons by Women and Child kry ons by Warren skrywer by die Tutaleni polisiestasie. Altijd as jy by die polisiestasie kom, die station commander is nie daar nie. As jy bel, as die karre nie. Ons is nou moeg. As hulle kon vroeër gekom het, sal hulle vir hierdie klein kind gerescue het. Die hoop van die polisie wil ons sien, laat ons kan vir hulle sê, hoe Women and Child vir ons hanteer. Kwisemon polisiestasie, Tutaleni polisiestasie. Genoeg is genoeg. Women and Child het vir Memory gesê, die kar wil nie start nie. As Memory het van laas week Dinsdag af, op en af geloop het, Kwisemon polisiestasie, om hulp te soek. Wat die ongeluk gebeur het, was 3 ure voor, na 5, was hy by die polisiestasie en hulp gesoek. En sit en gehuil, maar die polisieman het vir haar gesê, gaan uit die polisiestasie, het jou kind maak geras. Waar sal sy die kind gelos het en gegaan het? Wat sy hoor, haar kind is kom gevat, hoe haar klop sy met haar babiekie. So ons is baie ontevrede met Walvis Bay se polisieman en die Walvis Bay se 3 polisiestasies. Hulle is ongeskik, onbeskop. As hulle wat moet vir ons help, vir ons so behandel, van doen. Ons sal nie die kleintjie vandag so kom gekry het nie, as daar polisiekarre was. Maar is die polisie se nalatigheid. Woensdag aan, het memory niet geslapt. 6 uur het ze bij de politiestatie gekomen. Tot 11 uur toe het ze de hele dag daar gaan gezeten. Zonder reactie.
Our country is on the increase with violence, 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 killings, murder. It's just getting worse by the day.
Willem faces a charge of murder and rape. Read with GBV, and his case has been postponed to the 3rd of April this year to allow for further investigation and postmortem results. It's alleged that the 3-year-old and 2 other minors, aged 2 and 7 years, went to fetch water at their grandmother's partner's house. While filling their containers, the suspects reportedly called the victim into his hut, where he sexually violated her. After release and on their way back home, the victim was unable to walk any further and had to be carried by others. When they arrived back home, the children informed their grandmother about what happened, upon which she took the 3-year-old to a health center. Her condition, however, worsened given the injuries sustained, and she was declared dead upon arrival. Oshikoto Police Commander Commissioner Teopolina Kalompo Nashikaku told NBC News that preliminary investigations revealed that the deceased has scratch marks on her neck from suspected strangulation and beatings. Ndapandashuya, NBC News, Ondamwa.
It is alleged that Johannes has been assaulting her niece since last year, October. She faces 6 counts that include assault with intent to do grievous bodily harm when at various points she reportedly hit the minor with an empty beer bottle, cut her finger and neck with a knife, poured hot water over the minor's forehead and hit her with a baton across the leg. The accused is further charged with malicious injury to property after she tore clothes and a bag belonging to the minor. The accused chose to conduct her own defense. She remains in custody at the Klein-Windhoek police station.
Endeline, who was hearing impaired, was allegedly hacked to death with an axe by her partner, Christian Kudumo, who is also hearing impaired, in August last year. Kudumo is said to have gone missing after committing the crime until he was arrested the following day. The deceased's grandmother, Endeline Chikalu, has been taking care of the couple's 3 children, aged 6, 3 and 1 year.
Why should they release him? To come and do what? To come kill us or what? I'm not happy with that decision. Why should he come walk around? Is he going to bring back my grandchild? When he was still with a wife, he was not looking after the children. How will he manage to do that now that he is coming from prison?
The family believes Kudumo is still a threat to the children and himself once he is granted bail. Lucas Chikalu questions who will take the responsibility if the accused makes good on his threats to kill his family.
The day we starting to be committing that murder, he promised, said, okay, I'm going to kill the wife and kill my children and kill myself. And now when the good part the kids were at the village on the grandmother's side, and then he killed the wife, then he ran away. The next morning, or the same time when he was running now, he tried to look some objections, he was cutting himself so that to make suicide. That's a sign that we are having feeling that if might be coming out, still going to continue on to come and finish his mission that was left him when he'll be out now.
The suspect was granted a $5,000 bail last week because of his disability. Following objections from the family, the decision has been put on hold pending a bail hearing on the 27th of next month. Kudumo has been in police custody since his arrest.
It is alleged that Sibonena hit his father with a pounding stick at the back of his head on Tuesday at Wabona village in Sibinda area, accusing his father of bewitching him. The 59-year-old Sibonena Lukazi was rushed to the Katima Mulilo State Hospital, where he died on Wednesday morning. The case was postponed to the 13th of March for further investigations. A medical report will also be compiled to determine whether Sibonena needs medical evaluation. In a separate incident, the police in the Zambezi region are investigating a murder case of 56-year-old John Zambwe from Kabungo village in Chinchimani area. Zambwe died in the Katima Mulilo State Hospital on Wednesday after he was allegedly assaulted by 5 family members. According to Zambezi Regional Crime Investigation Coordinator, Deputy Commissioner Kenneth Simbwaye, Zambwe allegedly attacked his biological sister, 45-year-old Miaze, by stabbing her on both arms 5 times. It was then that the family members assaulted him to rescue Miaze. Zambwe is said to have had a history of violence.
This is not the first time. Yeah, always is a troublemaker. Yeah, he was having a case of murder 2003, whereas he was sentenced and he came out for 2014.
Oh.
Yeah, and then again 2022 again he was having a case again where the malicious damage to property. Yeah, but that one was still pending.
The case was forwarded to the Prosecutor General for decision whether to prosecute or not.
It is alleged that the complainant was approached by a male suspect at about 6 o'clock in the evening who threatened her at knife point and raped her. The suspect allegedly threatened to kill her should she attempt to tell anybody. Meanwhile, a 3-year-old girl was allegedly sexually violated by a 23-year-old man at Quisopmoon in Walvis Bay. It is alleged that the suspect, whose house are in close proximity with the victim, locked himself in his bedroom with the child and violated her. Upon release, the 3-year-old allegedly ran to her mother and informed her of what has happened. The suspect has been arrested. Stefan Urab, NBC News, Walvis Bay.
January 2023 seemed to be coming with a strong message so that we focus on this gender-based violence. It's crime on top of crime, murder, rape, minors involved, almost every incident. It's not a question of what is going on, it's a matter of what are we going to do to be in control of the situation. All of us, starting with the justice system. Please, please, please. The justice system needs a renovation. It needs a renovation so that we can all contribute, participate, and move into one direction of crime prevention.
What exactly is police brutality? Well, generally the term is defined as an act of misconduct done by a member of law enforcement through the use of an extreme amount of force to physically, mentally, or emotionally attack a member of society. Fortunately, many law enforcement officers, those sworn to protect and serve, have abused their rights and authority to ferociously assault and manipulate citizens even if they were innocent. Now, what happens when the police are perceived by citizens as not only enforcer of the law, but are also judge and executioner? Well, to help us answer that question, we're joined by Ombudsman John Walters. A very good evening to you, sir, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Jonas, and thank you for the invitation, and good evening, Namibia.
When do we judge an act of abuse? As an act of abuse of power? We've seen a lot of people going to social media and even in local dailies talking about how members of the public have been abused. How do we justify violence? Are there instances where police are justified to use violence in some of the cases that you have encountered so far?
No. The police is at no stage on any operation justified to use violence. It can never be justified. The police can, or the security forces can only use the reasonable force to overcome any resistance when effecting an arrest. What reasonable force will be determined by the circumstance of the prevailing circumstances.
Now, when somebody says or asks that, well, these are trained police officers, if this is the things that are being carried out, some of the cases, not to say that all of them are doing it, but does it bring the training into question?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The Constitution provides that when a police officer effects an arrest, he shall inform that person of the grounds and the reason for that arrest. I am not on social media, I don't follow it, but what I was informed is that persons are stopped, they are searched without their permission. You understand? And the last one I saw some brutality. If there was a resistance, the person was on the ground. I believe the resistance was overcome, and a person in uniform still kicked at the person. That is, it's not a reasonable force. That is an assault on the person.
On the other hand, there has been a sentiment expressed among some members of the public that, when they experience such cases, they don't bother to go open a case because, well, they say, what's the point? Because even if I do open a case, nothing will come of it. What does this say about the level of faith that citizens have in the criminal justice system, if that is, the general perception amongst some of the members of public?
Before I answer the question, may I just add, you and I cannot sit here and be armchair critics of what happened there on the ground. I am speaking of what I've only saw in video clips and what I heard. I don't know the circumstances under which the uniformed forces or law enforcement acted in the way they acted. And the motto of my office is the other side of the story. So I have to get both sides of the story to make out to draw the necessary conclusions or inferences. Why are members of the public reluctant to lay criminal charges? I've been informed that
one of the residents, Kathleen Lowe, gave an account of when her son was brutally beaten by police officers, noting that police are there to enforce the law and not to abuse people.
Die polisie gekom om hulle te kom stil te maak. Maar ek meen om te kom stil te maak is mos nie 'n probleem nie. Die polisie doen hulle werk reg, maar om te slat hand aan te sit, dit is nou teen my. Want toe voel my kind ook nou nee, dis nog aan toe. Het hy die glas wat hy gehad het hy met hy glas het hy vir hom geslat, dokter geslat. En toe het hy merkie hier by die oor gehad. En toe maak hy my sokke sak. En my kind het ook 'n sakloop gemaak en die sak is nog aanhang. Nou sien ek weer gister 'n video wat die jongens in die tronk geslat is. Maar ek weet nog nie wat hulle gedoen het nie. Maar al het hulle iets gedoen. Die wet is daar. Die magistraat is daar om vir hulle te chat. Die polisie is daar om net hulle se werk te doen. Vir hulle te vang en klagtes te maak teen hulle. En dan moet die judge mos vir hulle mos nou. Ja, nou word hulle gestraf met die slat en dan moet hulle nog weer van die judge ook nog gestraf word vir wat hulle gedoen het. En ek dink is nie regverdig nie. Die storie met regverdig, ek is nie teen die polisie nie. Glad nie teen die polisie nie. Want die polisie is daar om vir ons op te pas.
Explaining the incident, Police Chief Inspector General Sebastian Deitunga revealed that the brutality emanated from a cell search for contrabands conducted by the Special Reserve Force. He notes that the 8 officers involved have now been charged.
In the process, some of the inmates overpowered the police, and one of them ran out from the cells toward a dustbin. He picked up something from the dustbin, and when the police came to him, again to rearrest him, they find out that in the plastic bag there was a bottle of whiskey. And what happened is that they took him to the cells, and from there, later on, 2 inmates, probably including this one, were taken out from the cells somewhere nearby the town of Tume outside, and it's where the incident of assault had happened. The 2 victims, those 2 victims that are inmates in that cells, registered criminal cases against those police officers, and these police officers were charged and taken to court. As we are talking now, they are at court, but only 7 who are at court, because the 8th one, I understand, is sick. He will be taken to court as soon as he is able and fit to go to court. I also dispatched a team of senior officers, one from headquarters here, and the other one from Oshakati, to go and monitor and supervise the ongoing investigations so that we go to the bottom of this case.
Ndeitunga further condemned the act, appealing to members of the law enforcement to exercise patience, professionalism, and avoid using maximum force regardless of the level of provocation.
Sometimes inmates, they become too violent, attempting or assaulting officers who are searching the cells or who are feeding them, but it did not appear that this happened in this case. This case, there is no indication that the inmates were too violent to the extent that probably minimum force should have been used, except this one who ran away and then later was rearrested. So even at the highest provocation of the inmate, our members are trained how to handle calmly and they use the minimum force to neutralize those who are trying to probably assault police officers. So our training manual is very clear, and this incident really is outside of the established policy and code of conduct of police officers.